This episode of the Strong Talk podcast is brought to you by StartingStrongman.com. StartingStrongman.com brings you news, information on the sport of strongman and training in general and how to get strong doing strongman. Does that make sense? You can find contests, gyms. You can get coaching at strongmancoach.com. Go to startingstrongman.com/apparel for all of your apparel needs. And thanks everyone for using all the shopping done over Black Friday. You guys killed it with the affiliate links. Really helps out, keeps all of this going and progressing, and talking to all these great guests. You can just do all your Christmas shopping if you still got some on Amazon. I mean, I'm not going to buy anything for anyone. Well, I'm going to buy stuff for people. I'm just not going to go to any stores to do it. You can just go on Amazon and get it shipped straight to their house. So instead of going straight to Amazon, go to amazon.startingstrongman.com and kicks back a couple bucks towards keeping all of this going and hopefully improving the audio quality with a little bit more equipment soon. I think I'm going to get a mixer or something. Sorry if you guys couldn't hear some of the past episodes very good. Just working on getting the show better and better. And I appreciate it. Of course, go to store.startingstrongman.com for all of your training needs, ebooks, etc. And startingstrongman.com/sponsors and support all the companies that support us. So, because we're going to keep doing this. This week, talking with my good friend Michael Battolino at Chrono Strength. We're talking to Richie Lights Out Stout. Richie Stout is the national champion in the 175-pound weight class in Strongman Corporation. He also won the Arnold Amateur. He's a good athlete. Talk about his training, and we're going to have an upcoming podcast with his coach, who we mentioned quite a few times, going to be coming out after this with Brad Baldwin, 150-pound Strongman Corporation national champ. So enjoy the show with Richie Lights Out Stout. Welcome to the Strong Talk Podcast. I am Kalle Beck, joined by my good friend Mike Battolino and our guest this week, Richie Lights Out Stout, 175-pound world and national champion. How you doing, Richie?
Doing pretty good, Kalle.
Yeah. We've competed against each other once or twice, but I can't really remember, when did you actually start competing in strongman?
I started 2010. I didn't really get serious though until 2013. That's the first time I went to nationals in Denison.
Yeah.
And I had the throwback, but I went as a 200-pounder, and then I think we first competed at that Arnold that year. That was my first real big competition because I got hurt at nationals that year, but still qualified as an alternate that year to get in.
Yeah, and then you ended up making it day two on the Arnold, and that was a weird Arnold where it was they combined the 175 and the 200 class, and everyone's going to compete at a weight that neither one of us actually competed at 185. It was weird.
Strongman fitness, good for a year, and kind of went back to 175. So
yeah, it was interesting. So where are you from?
I'm from Niles, Ohio. It's not far from Youngstown, but that's where I got to start, and then got a job with the Navy. So I've been traveling around a little bit, and now I'm in Corpus Christi, but we're going actually to the Jacksonville, Florida area next. So looking to be training with Andrew Clayton a little bit down there. So
yeah,
that's going to happen within a month. So that's the next trip. Hopefully that's the end of moving for a while. It's going to settle down and find a home,
Yeah, it makes it difficult, especially with strongman, and all these certain gyms have good access to equipment, and I don't think you want to be lugging around every implement you need all over the country. So
yeah, for sure. It gets to be a pain.
Yeah, Florida's there's a ton of people, and then it's pretty good driving distance to go to a bunch of different gyms around there, so that should work out pretty good though.
Oh yeah.
So what do you can you talk about what you do, Richie?
Just profession wise, or?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Brian Allsrue, when we interviewed him, he also worked for the government, but he goes, what did he say? He's like, I can't talk about what I did. And then he said something like paid to hurt people or so. It was fun.
What he said, I can't talk about, that's my last job, which I can't really talk about, basically it's classified. And then he was talking about, he wanted to start his own business, and he said, I only know how to do two things, lift heavy things and hurt people. I was just like, okay, all right.
Cryptic.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, with me, I started off as a fitness trainer in the Navy. So I work as a civilian, but I worked for them. But I was just a trainer, just getting guys in shape, running command PTs, personal training on the base. Now in Corpus Christi, I'm the fitness coordinator. So running special events and all the programs for all the Navy guys and our contractors. So just getting it good. I mean, Corpus Christi's got a nice powerlifting community, so we started bringing that on the base and slowly trying to bring Strongman on if they let us. But it's kind of where we're at right now. And yeah, just going, like I said, going over to Jacksonville next. So I'll actually be doing a fitness specialist. So getting back into more training, which would be kind of fun, being a little more active. So kind of looking forward to it.
Are you moving there from Corpus?
Yeah, we'll be moving in about a month over the Jacksonville area.
Cool.
Yeah, I imagine it'd be more fun to doing like the actual training of the people than doing the managing of a gym. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I want to be in the fitness industry or this or that, and they don't understand, especially like even what I do day to day is all like most of it's bookkeeping behind the scenes, updating a website. It's not actually anything like physical or helping, people get better for the most part. It's just like it's just in this industry, but it's like any other job that someone could be doing administratively.
Yeah, that's it. Sitting behind a desk on a computer all day, and you're just kind of like, I need to get up and do something. And
exactly.
Any chance you get to train someone, you're like, yeah, I'll come help. You need to set that up. Yeah, I'll help. Let's do it. Get out of that office for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes it it gets old just staring at the computer and doing all that. And it makes it a little harder to make weight again. I know, like you said, you started at 200. And then you competed, so then you did the Arnold, and then the following year at Nationals, you decided to go 175, right? I think.
I've tried to. I didn't make weight in Rio that year.
Yeah.
I was about a pound off, and it was pretty depressing.
So what's that like, though? Like you go, and like obviously the weights are pretty drastically different for like the 200 class and the 175. So you've been training for this. You miss weight, you can't make weight, you have to compete the next class up. Like how was that?
At first I was just real pissed at myself, for not executing the cut, but I'm not making an excuse. But when I moved from Ohio to Georgia, it was kind of during the middle of the cut.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of messed it up, and that was my own fault for not tracking what I was doing and eating. It was pretty hectic, but get all the way out there and jump on the scale and realize you're that far away from weight. You're like, oh man. So kind of just, in the hotel room that night, I was talking to Dane Wallace, and we're just kind of like, dude, you just got to go out there and do the best you can. I mean, because I was contemplating not even doing it because I was just that upset, but I knew that wasn't the right thing to do. But it was, and that first event, it went good up until the axle, because we had that press medley. It was the keg axle and dumbbell press. I zeroed the axle, which is something I did a year earlier at Nationals and hit it for a double. So I was really pissed at myself, and that was kind of a wake-up call. Just, hey, man, we're here. We've got to make the most of it. And it was kind of a growing experience, just mentally what you can overcome if you get your mind right, into the right areas. And after trying to make a cut like that, trying to recoup, I didn't really hydrate properly after that. Because after I didn't make weight, I was kind of like, it doesn't matter, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. But again, that was a big learning experience, just being able to overcome a lot of tough situations. And I think that helped me for the future here, especially what I'm doing now, just being able to make the cuts and keep your mind right and stay focused on what the goals are. And just when things don't go your way, because they're not always going to go your way, just being able to rebound from it and just keep going strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes it hard to stay in a routine when you're not in a routine in life too. Like you say, you're moving. Like I recently moved. I didn't even move very far, and I'm just like, I don't even know how I'm going to train. Screw eating right for a bit. Like so much else is going on. It's really hard to get in that routine, and especially like you're trying to be the best in the world at your craft, and you got all this other stuff to do, and we're just normal. We're just doing our jobs every day, and this is something we get to do for fun. It makes it really hard to, just to actually then stay at like that peak performance when everything else isn't, in line. And it seems like you're saying you're moving around a lot, because you're like, this is when we went to Georgia. We were just talking about Texas and Ohio recently. Like you're just all over the place.
And one more trip to Florida, and I think this will be it for a while. But yeah, I was fortunate after the Arnold. That's when we moved to Texas, so I had that big long span till Nationals, so I really wasn't doing anything. So like you said, you got to kind of settle down, find a gym, get settled in, and trying to get a routine. Like you said, eating after moving here. Yeah, eating. didn't think about eating right for a while. I was like, I don't have to worry about that till national. So we got time, especially in Texas, man. A lot of good food in Texas. So, and I like to eat, you know. Not a true 175 or walking around. So, you know, we got to eat, you know, and you get the opportunity in the off season, you got to eat. You got to enjoy it.
Sure. And yeah, Mike knows very well how, you know, living in Texas for a while, and recently you actually did you've been on a diet, which is unlike Mike. So
yeah, unlike a super heavyweight, right?
Yeah, super heavyweight, dieting down, you know, for some health reason. But I think we touch on that quickly. But when, you know, I think you followed the RP strength templates, and how'd that go, Mike?
It was good. I used code Strongman 10,
which doesn't work anymore.
To get. It didn't work anymore.
No, they're not doing the codes anymore. But interesting. But thank you.
Okay,
it's all good.
Anyway, so yeah, no, I did RP strength, and it worked really well, and probably the best cut I've ever done. Super easy to follow, and aside from being hungry by choice, wasn't bad. But yeah, I just decided. I've never really been. I really can't carry over 300 pounds very well, and you know, after I went to my last competition, and pretty much everyone was between like 330 and 360, except for Davis Diley, who won at 240.
Sure.
Of course. So I just decided to go down to 265. See what happens.
So over what period of time? How much weight did you end up actually losing?
About 28 pounds over 10 weeks.
It's pretty
good. So about 2.8 every week. So hopefully keep off about, you know, standard 270 so that it's an easy cut to 265. That's the main goal.
That's awesome.
And because I also do powerlifting, I can also compete as a 120 kilo 264 in USAPL. So yeah, they're my two weight classes right there. Good to go.
Nice. Of course, you lose that much weight in like 24 hours though. Right, Richie?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I think the day before I was probably 15 over. So, you know, I got there overnight, you know. Well, from one day, you know, 24 hours. It was rough, though.
To nationals?
It's always hectic. Yeah, for nationals. I was probably about 185 the day before weigh-ins.
That's pretty good.
I think before I left Corpus, I think I was 181 point something. And then I got into Iowa. I was 179 the next morning. And that last like 4 or 3 point whatever was just miserable. Luckily, we were able to go in 175.8. That made it a lot. You know, those extra ounces, man, they add up. So
yeah.
Less sauna trip. I mean, one less at least. But.
Yeah, that's a, you know, extra 15 minutes less in the sauna. You'll pay good money to not have for like once it's getting down to those last like pound or two, you'd pay money to like give a couple more points on the person. You know, like give me 0.2. Like. I know I would. Go ahead, Mike.
I know a few weeks ago we talked to Terry Rady right after he won 90K World's Strongest Man.
Uh-huh.
And we got into his cut a little bit and how he did it. How did you do yours, Richie?
Well, I just thought of it with when I went home for my birthday. It was the end of September. I was sitting pretty heavy at like 203. You know, it's kind of what happens when you go home with your family for a while, and probably not the best time to go home, but I had to start cutting back on the carbs a little bit, and then spend a little extra time doing some cardio, which I was doing anyways, trying to get in shape for nationals. But I was just watching what I was eating and portion control, and then counting carbs a little bit. Carb cycling, I did a lot of carb cycling just on certain days, you know. And when I got close, when I got where I wanted to, I just kind of leveled out a little bit until closer to the competition where I knew I could cut water weight, and I started water loading. But that was the big thing, was not getting myself into trouble like that again. Going home, you know, closer to a competition, and you know it's your birthday, and cake and ice cream twice a week, and doing all that stuff. But
sure. So when you say get where you want, like a good place to cut water for 175 is what for you, like 180, 185 ish?
Yeah, but I wouldn't get about 185 is pretty good. You know, I know I can get there from 185. I like to train around 193, 195. That way, when you start, you know, just cutting back on the carbs, it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But since I was so far away, I had to start earlier, and I felt like it took more of a toll on me because I was cutting back what I was eating sooner. And just, you know, you start noticing that when you're in the gym, especially in the heat, you know, here in Texas, it really wears you out real fast. And you start noticing towards the end of those workouts when you're not as carb loaded as you need to be, or like it's hard to balance out and get used to.
Yeah, you're running on less fuel, so it's
And then essentially, you're burning through a lot quicker. But you need to train still. But you're like, man, let's just be. You got to readjust. You got to be smarter about what you're doing and what takes priority, because you're gonna tire out a lot sooner.
Absolutely. And I know you work with 150-pound champion Brad Baldwin with your programming and coaching. Does he do your diet as well, or does he give you help with that?
Yeah, he threw me a little help with that. We didn't really get too much into it until he asked me what I was weighing when I got back from my trip. And then he was like, dude, I'm like, yeah, I know, we'll get it. But he did help me a little bit with just the carb cycling, because I know he did some carb cycling. I haven't really played around with it too much. I know what it is, but I'm like, yeah, we should probably try that. And he helped me out a little bit. I'm thinking for the Arnold, we might hire somebody. I know a couple guys who are dietitians, and they've done the sport more bodybuilding, but they got a background with it. So
sure,
looking into around the Arnold, just getting something, because you don't want to go to that one and not make weight. I mean, it's not good to not make weight in general, but I want to make sure I'm on track for that one, because it's a big one.
Well,
kind of important,
especially when you're defending the title. Like
oh yeah,
you won it last year, so that it's kind of you're coming. Everyone's like, okay, you won. You're the kind of everyone's everyone looks at the champ. That's how it goes, and then so you got to show up.
Yeah,
you can't
not make it.
No, you can't be the defending champ and come back like what happened. But yeah, so with the carb cycling, so you're basically to really dumb it down, you're taking in more carbs on training days and less on rest days for the most part, right?
Yeah, that was it. You're just kind of finding out what days really, some days didn't need as much, so I wouldn't even count it as a training day.
Mm-hmm.
So I would sometimes even stay lower, because I know I needed to really get the weight down. But if I wasn't doing a whole lot, especially strongman wise or foundational, I would just not count it as a training day, just to get an extra day of not as much, just try to get the weight lower.
Sure, yeah, because also like you're saying, you're coming from a higher body weight in general, so you have to be a little more drastic with the measures to take to get there, because because you like to enjoy life like the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand. I think it's one of those things you can do for a little bit, where you're just like, I'm just eating like really precise and everything, and you're keeping everything in check, and you're not binging and enjoying your like even maybe just you keep it to once a week. But man, it's hard to sustain that for like a long period of time. Like you can have that motivation to do it for some amount of time, but then eventually you're just like, you know what? Like, I think the only way I ever did it was actually having to compete, like shit, like, knowing like, okay, on March 2nd, I have to weigh 175 pounds. It'll make you motivation. Yeah, it'll make you do it. But since then, I haven't found that same motivation since I haven't been competing. Like, what's it really matter?
Yeah, no, I hear you on that one. I mean, I was trying to, like I said, when I first got here, I was trying to keep my weight kind of in a good range, and I was kind of like, wait, it doesn't matter. I don't really need to at the moment. I'm like, so yeah, let's just go up a little bit. But then, sometimes it gets out of hand. Like you said, when you have something though, you're like, yeah, I need to really get this in checks. On a certain day, I need to weigh this. So you're like, yeah, let's get a plan here and let's follow it.
Sure. So let's walk through how the Arnold went last year, and I think you've been up on that stage before. Where what did you place that year? Third,
fourth. I got
fourth. Yeah, fourth in 2014.
14.
Yeah. So like that's an awesome feeling being up on that stage. I can imagine. Like
Oh yeah, it was cool. Especially being from Ohio, because I was still living in Ohio, and that was my first one. So a lot of guys from the area. It was only a 2-hour drive south, so everyone they drove down. I had a lot of friends and family there, so it was a pretty cool feeling to get up there, especially after nationals. I got hurt and I didn't really place as high as I wanted to, and initially didn't even think I was going to the Arnold. So when we got that call from Dion saying you're going to be an alternate, I was pretty excited. And then to get on the stage, you're like, wow, it's amazing. It's a cool feeling.
Yeah, and there's like 10,000 or so people looking all around, and it's nuts. And that's something I want to point out, because I had a couple after this nationals, like people that missed an Arnold spot by like 1 or 2, and they messaged me and they're annoyed. I'm like, almost everyone I know ends up going that was like close as an alternate, because not everyone can make it. So you know, in that it might at the banquet when you realize you missed it by like 1.5 or something, then you might be really just devastated. But you can tell them right there. There's a good chance you're gonna get bumped up because things happen, people get hurt, that that can't get time off work, etc. So
yeah, you always be ready. I mean, that was a mistake I made. Well, I was still hurt actually. So when I found out, I was just getting over the injury, and I was like, okay, I can start training for something again. So I was thinking
injury?
about shows. What's that?
What injury did you have?
That year, I got hurt trying to do the car deadlift in Denison, Texas.
That was the heavy one. That was the heavy one, right?
Yeah, it was heavy. Yeah, it didn't go anywhere. I know. For me, I being new, that was my first nationals. I didn't train it right, and
sure,
I was trying. I knew if you get one, you'd be good, and I couldn't get one, but I was trying. So I started seeing stars, and I stopped. I started feeling tightness in my back. I strained my back doing it. I still finished it out, but I knew I didn't do as well as I wanted to. But yeah, I felt like that thing. I think they might have screwed that in the ground. I think they might have forgot. We're trying to lift it.
That car was pretty heavy. It wasn't light by any means. I think they added like another 100 or 200-pound plates to the trunk for the middleweights, which would be you. And I remember like I was picking it, and I cheat the hell out of the car deadlift. Like my technique's down good. Like I'm not actually strong lifting it, but it was heavy, man. I think the only reason I lifted it is because like a empty water bottle slid under my handle, so every time I was putting it down, it was bouncing it back up. So I think that water bottle did all the lifting, or else I would have just got like 2-3 reps.
You heard it here, folks. That's why Kalle was so good at car deadlift.
Yeah,
empty water bottles.
Well, that one time, because I was pretty jacked up for that contest too. Like I was all screwed up, but yeah, man, the car deadlift's a weird event.
You never know going into what's going to be like.
No.
Learning lesson there for sure. And then at the Arnold that year, it was the wheelbarrow car deadlift thing, and it was like 23, 24 reps at the Arnold.
I don't even want to remember that thing. That was horrible.
Yeah, I remember ripping my hand open on like the 20-something rep, and I knew how to keep going. I was bleeding all over that thing. It was like, So, and then you find out you got to compete on Sunday. It's like, oh man, how's that hand going to feel? Start playing mental games. But yeah, that thing was so many reps.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or have there been less car deadlifts in like the past 2 years?
There have.
Am I crazy? There have been?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like every show up until 2014 nationals. They still had one, and then I haven't seen one in like a big Platinum Plus or national since. I mean, they were
doing that year. They pulled it. They couldn't. It was a deadlift medley at the Arnold that year.
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't get the car frames in there or something, so they just did the traditional bar and then the axle bar.
Yeah. Oh, so they were gonna do it like they did in 2013.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah, that was a fun medley. But yeah, the one in 2014 where you're talking about was like the backwards like wheelbarrow they put on the car deadlift frame, and you had to face towards it. We had to load 3 or 4 sandbags into it and then lift it for reps. And I don't think that event was like really announced until like way, like I think that they like held off on like what the specifics of it were gonna be for a bit. It was
we didn't know first. I think we found out during the rules reading what we'll be loading into it.
Yeah, it was like it was just called Dion's Deadly Deadlift, and it's like what horrible thing is this gonna be? And then we found out like, oh, so we're gonna have to run with sandbags, then and then and I was not training any conditioning at all for that contest. It was bad.
I remember training that, thinking axle, maybe a car, something else, something. I was training everything. She said run with sandbags, which I don't like running with sandbags. I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, yeah, it'd be fun. See what happens.
So then you made day 2. What were the events on day 2 to catch everyone up on?
That one was a max log, and then there was Atlas Stone over bar for reps. So it was just a normal Atlas Stone time.
Yeah, this was pre-Bartos era.
Yeah.
That's how they'll define strongman from now on.
Well, we had the big dog era. We had the short-lived beast metals era.
Yep.
And then now we're in the Bartos era with North American Strongman. But yeah, and then I think, did you win the log in that?
Yeah, I won the log that year. 290 got it. I think the other guys got 270. We were all kind of like keeping up with each other. We were all kind of nervous because of the big Slater log.
Yeah.
So I think everyone kind of started at 250. Then we just kept making those 20-pound jumps, and then I hit 290, and then that was it. But the stones what kind of buried me that year.
Yeah, you underperformed. What was it, like 280 for reps, something like that?
I think it was supposed to be end up being like 265 for reps and
Sure.
75. She gave us 75 seconds that year, so
Oh,
it was
that's
a little
brutal.
bit longer. But yeah, I remember I was going up against Alderson, and I was trying to keep pace with him, which was a bad idea. I was kind of being young, just I was telling you, you're in second place, keep up with them, and that was a bad idea because I ran out of gas. I think if I would have stopped, I may have been able to get 9 because I think the other 2 guys got 9 that year, and I got 7. Alderson had 11 or something like that. He was way out there, but I think if I would have paced myself, I might have been able to get 9. But I was trying to keep up with him, man. And I just couldn't do it, and I hit the bar twice. And once you hit the bar, you're smoked. You're just done.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not getting that extension to finish the pull anymore. That means like your back's just gassed, your glutes are gone, they're just not working at all anymore. So you can't, especially we're not at 175, we're not the tallest strongman out there, so we have to have the full extension on stones. How tall are you, Richie? Like 5'8"?
Not even, but maybe 5'7", being generous.
Sure.
5'7", 5'7" with shoes. With shoes, maybe 5'7". We'll call it 5'7".
We all say we're 5'7" because it's just for whatever reason it sounds a little bit better than 5'6".
It does, you think of that. Yeah, you're like there's that halfway mark. You're like, well, 5'7"'s more. It's getting closer to that 5'10" range, which we're not there, but
No,
it sounds like you said. It sounds better.
Yeah, but in the reality, we're all just short.
Yeah, pretty much. You got a select few that aren't, but yeah, majority, we're all short guys. I mean, it was funny. I saw a picture at Nationals. It was like me, Alvino, Garcia, and a couple other guys. It was all short. Then next to Brad Baldwin, who's really tall. And it's funny. We all look like little midgets, height-wise compared to Brad.
Even though he's competing 25 pounds less.
Yeah, I know. No, width-wise, we stood up fine. A bunch of short, stocky, fat guys, bloating back up after making weight. And you got him tall and lengthy, 150.
Yeah, this freaking male model over here.
Yep.
Literally. But I'll actually be talking to Brad soon, so that'll be a fun podcast to do. So we'll talk all about you and how much he's like, shit, Richie got so fat and I had to get him back down to weight and all those things.
I get scared there for a minute. We're out 3 weeks out and he's over 200 pounds.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm not gonna. I was a little nervous. I had flashbacks of Reno, and I think that was motivating. I'm like, hey, fatty, I'm like, get down, get under 200, and we'll keep going from there.
Sure. So then you go to nationals last year, or no? Yeah, it would be last year, and you qualify for the Arnold again.
Yeah.
And then how did it go going into was your second Arnold?
Yeah, that was my second one.
Yeah,
yep.
And then that obviously went well. How was that whole contest?
The Arnold?
Yeah.
Or Nationals? Yeah, the Arnold. I learned from Nationals that year because that was my first big competition in a while. Because the year before Nationals, I didn't make weight.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of burned myself out, honestly. I was doing my own programming and I wasn't following it. I think when you make your own programming, sometimes it's easy to not listen or to do more. And
sure.
I think for me, when I wrote it up, I was kind of looking at it like, what am I doing here? I don't think I'm doing enough. I think part of that was mentally not being in a big show for a while. You kind of forget how taxing those events are on you.
Mm-hmm.
And I burned myself out pretty bad. I kind of underperformed at Nationals. So I took that as a learning lesson programming for the Arnold. And I kind of followed something else and I stuck to the plan. And, I felt good coming in. The cut wasn't too bad. I got to actually make the cut at home because my parents live in Ohio, like I was saying earlier. So I got to kind of do it from the comfort of my family's house and didn't have work or anything bothering me. So it was just, the only thing in my mind was lose weight, don't eat, made it a little bit easier. But I felt rested, though. That was the big thing. I wasn't burned out, felt rested. I felt a little nervous coming in that log. We had to do 270 for reps in a minute. So clean and press every rep. And when I got out there, man, just get in that zone and actually ended up getting 5 on that. Locked out that last one with a second left. And I found out that I ended up winning that event. And that was kind of like, wow, I started off, something that's usually not one of my strengths. I just won. So, going in the frame carry, I felt pretty good because that was a pretty good event for me. So, and I could just tell just from that, the way I was programming it, I felt a lot fresher and it was a lot better just going into it. So mentally, I felt real good, because at Nationals, we had a 250 log. I think I got 2 or 3, and that was kind of depressing for me. I was like, yeah, we need to really picked us up because we had to do 270 at the Arnold. So, go 20 pounds heavier.
Yeah, but you say you're not a good presser yet. You won. You've had 2 pressing wins at 2 Arnolds in the log. So
I would say for reps, pressing for reps has been kind of an issue.
okay.
Working on that stamina, especially on the clean, because I got hurt before nationals earlier doing a log clean, so I wasn't able to do cleans. So I had to press out of the rack for a while, so I wasn't able to build up that endurance. So that was kind of a issue for me going in the Arnold. I was kind of nervous because I wasn't doing a whole. I started feeling better. I strained my forearm doing a clean, so I wasn't cleaning too much going into the Arnold. So I was kind of nervous about that endurance. When it comes to cleaning a 270 log, it's pretty heavy. So
Sure.
getting that up there, trying to get 5. But I think going into it, I think the most I got was 3 in training. So that kind of woke me up a little bit. Like, just slow it down, stay efficient. And I think that's the biggest thing is staying efficient on those types of lifts. And it helps out, conserving that energy. Because what I was doing before, I was getting away from me on the clean. I was kind of out in front of myself. And, if you clean away from your body, you're going to waste a lot of energy. And that'll tire you out for the rest of the day. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Just being the more efficient your movement is, the less strenuous it is, and then you have more energy. You move good, then you tend to have, you're going to recover better because you exerted less. Like you can be just as strong but less efficient. And at the top of the sport at every level, it's less like, is this person actually stronger than this person, and who performs the most efficiently and actually does it when it counts. I found like you've competed with like the top 5-ish guys in the country or the world. They're all pretty much anyone could win that one day, so.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the great thing about it. I mean it's a toss up, who's going to win that day. It just comes down to not making mistakes, like you said, being efficient, not making any mistakes, and staying consistent. Because one little slip up, man, that can cost you so much.
Absolutely. So what are your actual lifts like? What's a max log, deadlift, all that?
Deadlift, I haven't done a max in a while, but 650 is the most I've done on a deadlift. Log, honestly, at 290. I was at, that one I did at the Arnold that year. I haven't really tried to go too much heavier. I've kind of stayed more sub-maximal. I haven't really gone 1 rep max, but 290, I've never hit 300 in a log. Something I want to do one day, but I feel like I can if I train for it, but I'm just kind of going, more 5s and 3s.
Yeah.
But
it's a 300 is a weird number. It's never really. I guess it's been done like once or twice by a 175 in competition. I think Matt LeBlanc did it when he just did that, then Quint Zambon hit one at the
Arnold a couple years ago.
Yeah, which is a little sketchy lockout. Like even afterwards, he kind of looked at the judge like, okay, like all right, I'll take it, but it wasn't the cleanest lift you've ever seen. It was like a lot of not taking any. He got the down. I'd take it too. But a lot of Zadrunas' lifts look like that, and everyone else is like, I don't think other people would get that call, but if you get the call. But yeah, 300's weird. But yeah, if you hit 270 for 5, you'd figure you're good for 3. But I hit similar numbers in training before, and then every time I load 300 pounds on the log, it just never goes up. It's the weirdest thing. Yeah. It's one of those like
you hit 290, you put that 300 on. Actually, you feel like you put a 25 pound on each side. You're like, what the hell happened?
It just collapses your whole chest, and then like all that drive you got before. It's like a weird mental thing. I feel like once like 1 or 2 people do it, then everyone's gonna be pressing 330. It's be like, well, it's 300. Everyone does that now. Like that's kind of how things work, But
yeah, no, I feel the same way. Just starting the sport with the deadlift, everyone's talking about like 500, 550, 600 now. Yeah. I was like, if you're not in the 575, 600 range, you're like, wow, what am I doing wrong? The numbers keep going up with everybody, and you see on the page guys hitting new maxes. You're like, man, like, yeah, everyone just keeps going up. I think I saw Pat, a powerlifting competition pull, almost, I think he did like 645, 650, just easy. Mm-hmm. He said it wasn't easy, but I mean, it looked extremely easy.
Yeah, like I think it was like 650 or 660, just not even that bad. Powerlifting rules.
Right up. Yep.
Yeah, and yeah, I remember I pulled it wasn't at 175, but I weighed in at 175 for a contest the weekend before, like 600, and there was not that many other like people that even competed at 175 at that time that you'd seen done 600 in a contest regardless if that was a weight class or not, like
Yeah.
it's just, and now it's like, okay, you have to have a 600-pound deadlift.
Yep.
Before it was like an exception, now it's the rule. It's crazy how fast the sport grows. So what's your thoughts on growing the 170, 80 kilos, 175? It's where you compete, it's where I competed. So I always look at it like I want it to grow because it's what I did. And it seems like lately the 105s have always been growing in size. The 90s are getting a lot of heat right now, it seems. I think that's more of an international push, but like the 80s, it's like, okay, there's still the Arnold. There's still like the same like top 5-ish guys, yourself, Castelli, I don't think Zambon's even in 175s anymore. Dane Wallace is always good, but like those are those top, John Adams, but it's like those same guys for like the last 3 or 4 years. It doesn't seem like there's like, I don't know, like you were just at nationals, maybe you could tell like there was new guys that you see that are like right up there now.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, there was a big class there. I think there's 33, 5 lightweights in general, which was up
pretty
from
last
big.
year, I think. Last year, I think it went down, and then this year it seemed to go up. But like, so what do you think? Like, what do you see like as a future of the 80 class, or like how it could grow a little bit more?
I mean, I think there's definitely a growing number. I think it's going to keep growing, honestly. I mean, a lot more people getting into strongman. A lot of people making that transition. I think Adams did it. He was a CrossFitter, I believe, and he made that transition over real well. I think a lot of guys are trying, like, doing both, but both sports are growing, and I really hope it does continue going. And I think every other class has a pro card, I believe, right?
Yeah.
I believe it's
even the women.
Lightweights, and all the women's classes do. I think with the sport, with the way the class is growing, I think that's something we will see in the future. I don't know when, hopefully sooner than later, but I think there will be a lightweight pro class eventually. And I think that'll continue. I think that once that happens, more guys are definitely going to take their shot, because anytime you say there's a pro card involved, more guys are going to show up. And that's something they're going to want to try to get into and get in. And like I said, we've seen it kind of expand already. So I think, if you had something like that in the future, and like you said, there's been a pretty good core guys, at the top 4, top 5. So I think that'll just, definitely open the door for more guys. And at nationals, I did see a lot of young and up and coming guys right there on the doorstep of the Arnold, and may have missed out. And, they're going to be there in a year or two, right there, ready to jump in. So definitely, it's fun to see. It's fun to meet the new guys, see what they're doing. And a lot of young guys too, man. I know I'm getting older. So, seeing these young guys at ages like 21 and 22, I was like, man, when I was that age, I wasn't even thinking about strongman. I was like, maybe it's something I'll do in the future, but these guys are already, I'm 30, so I'm not that old, but
it feels old, man.
It does. That recovery, man, it's not like it used to be when I first started. When I was like 23 or 24. That's when I first just got into it. I wasn't even lifting heavy. It was a thought,
You can max every day, go back in the next day, max out again.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, what's injury? What's getting hurt?
Yeah, whenever you have a tweak, it's gone the next day. You're like, oh, I feel fine today. And now it's, well, maybe I'll take a week off, or I'll avoid this exercise. So it's not like it used to be.
Yeah.
What's your training kind of look like in general?
Right now, I'm waiting. Brad and I are trying to get this together, but usually what I'll try to do is work in an event or two into whatever I'm doing. So I break up my events into 3 days a week, but I'll train 4 to 5. But one day to kind of be. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I said okay. Keep going.
But yeah, I'll find out like what the events are, and I'll try to work it in. So if I'm doing mostly posterior day, if I'm doing a deadlift, there's always a deadlift event at the Arnold, or at big competition. So I'll work the deadlift in. But I think for nationals, what I started doing, because we had to do the sandbags, we had to do the Husafel. So that'd be something I train the posterior half, and then I would work that medley. I started doing that medley too. So just working the whole posterior together. That was my biggest day, because you're deadlifting, you're working a medley, and you're doing a max carry. And sometimes I had to split that up.
Yeah, I was going to say doing all 3 of those would be pretty brutal. I might do like medley 1 week, Husafel the next, etc.
What I started doing after a while, if I felt good, I'd work all 3. And sometimes we would taper off on one event. It would just be real lightweight. For like, say, we go light, just go for distance, and then I'd work the medley. But what I started doing was working that into my Tuesday regiment, which was mainly the front. So I would do quads mostly. I'd do the yoke, do squats. And then I'd even throw in a little bit of that medley work or something like that. For example, just to kind of split it up. And I always have a day in there just for something fun, like bench press. And little triceps. You know,
Sure.
you have your Monday. You know, just like everybody else. Just go in there, just bench, have fun, start the week off like that, get going. Then I would work an overhead day, just strictly overheads, like the dumbbell, and then I do some accessory movements for that. So I try to break it into 4 days, and I'll have maybe a day just to kind of active recovery. Maybe I'm doing some cardio, like rower or something like that.
So you don't do like a traditional strongman Saturday. You do. I mean, you're
No.
you're breaking it up throughout the week.
Yeah, I break it up throughout the week, and I feel like that worked better for me. I used to do the strongman Saturdays. I liked it, but I feel like this way you're kind of working in similar body parts to what you're doing with the events as well. So it kind of works out. It works out pretty well. It's just tough though to do that because I feel like a lot of your foundational training, like your squat, your just traditional deadlift, it's kind of hard to build that up. So that's something really focused on the off season. So after the Arnold, that's something I really worked on was not so much strongman events, but building my base, getting a better squat, getting a better deadlift, and getting a better overhead press. I mean, like I said, it wasn't that bad, but for me, the press would work on more repetition because I knew national was going to be something with a lot of reps, and we got that dumbbell. So that off-season training helped me because I was hitting a lot more numbers.
Are you about to gear up? So what about another month? You're about to gear up for the Arnold, or are you already kind of starting to do that?
Yeah, it's slowly starting right now. Since we know the events, we don't know the weight yet. We've been hitting the implements, but nothing crazy. A lot of speed work, like low weight, a lot of reps, just kind of getting the technique down again. So I mean, I think like the axle is going to be overhead, which isn't a hard one to get down, but after doing dumbbell for so long, it's like, all right, I got to switch up the gears a little bit.
Yeah. So
what are the? Oh, go ahead.
We're what, 16 weeks out?
Yeah, 16 out.
As we record this. Yeah. So what are the events for this upcoming Arnold where you're gonna defend your title?
There's an axle clean and press away, so it's kind of different. You just got to clean it once and just go. Nice. But I'm assuming it's going pretty heavy. Obviously, we don't have the weights out there yet.
I'd hope it's at least 250.
I'm gonna say at least 240.
I think for a clean and press away, I'm hoping to go something more like 270.
That's what I'd hope.
Hope and crossing my fingers. I like heavier, especially at the Arnold. But we'll see. Hopefully within a couple of weeks. But then there's another Bartow's yoke. Same thing we used, but last time. I think it's going to be. I think he said 75 feet. So going a little further, and obviously going to be a little bit heavier than at nationals. We had 600 at nationals, so cross my fingers for that 7. I'm looking for 700. I'm hoping
I go 675. Kale?
Yeah, I'm thinking more like around 650, 675.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably going to be about that. 7 would be nice. It'd be a nice step up, and see what who's not just fast but can carry a heavy load for 175. But I don't know.
It's 330 empty, so it's 330 or 335 empty. The yoke.
I'm not sure, honestly. That was the first time
it is. I'm just mine. I have one, but it's in Florida. It's still waiting on a trip to Texas.
You should go. You should go pick it up and just start using it while Mike isn't. Richie, when you go over there.
What part is it in? I'll go use it a little bit.
It's in Ocala.
Okay, it won't be too far. I mean, it's not close, but it won't be too bad. That's what one thing I was joking around about was Bartos. His gym is only 15 minutes from my parents' house. So when I go home for the holidays, that's where I'll be. But I'm like, go figure. He would get the implements after I moved from Ohio. That would kind of happen.
Of course, it's how it always works. But so yeah, we got the yoke. Yeah, I think it'll probably be about 650, 675. What else do you have going for that, Arnold?
Same deadlift, that axle bar with the Hummer or the Jeep tires. I forget the brand, but it's the same thing. But I'm sure it's gonna be heavier because we had guys at nationals pulling 17. I think Pat got 17, John got 15, I got 13. So same exact implement. So I'm sure she'll put more weight on that one.
What weight was it at nationals?
525.
I'm going 575.
6 should be 6.
I'm thinking 6. I hope 6. More would be better. This is about 13, a little over a 13-inch pool.
It looked a little higher to me. I don't know if anyone brought a tape out to it, but looked a little.
I think it was. I've been training 13. It felt a lot higher than what I was used to.
Yeah.
I thought it was 15.
Yeah.
Based on how it looked on people's shins, I thought it looked like 15.
We didn't have the Brian Shaw like that type of guy who measures every single implement out there.
I'm sure someone did. Someone's gonna maybe Craig Pfister is gonna be like, actually, he's like, I had a math formula on the live stream and it was 15.35. So
we'll see.
And then the last event's gonna be I don't know what we're doing exactly. She said a keg carry and press medley. So I mean, I know we're going to carry one and go probably press it. And then I'm not sure if it's going to be like down, press 3 times, bring one back, press 3, or I'm not sure. I know they did something weird at the Masters Nationals with the farmers where they had to carry it halfway, deadlift it so many times, and carry it the rest of the way, then deadlift it 4 times. So I'm not sure if something like that, or she hasn't announced the guidelines on that yet, but that's what we're looking at. So another
sounds brutal.
I like that. I know it's cool when there's some things actually came up with a new twist to an event, and what'll be interesting about that is usually not everyone who's the best presser is also the fastest at carrying things.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on how heavy or how light it'll really depend. Because if it's so light, it's pretty much just going to be a carry with a couple Vipers, and it's not, the press is going to be irrelevant. But if it's like a press where it's heavy enough where some people might struggle with it, it's going to change it a lot. But yeah, I think it's going to be similar to how that deadlift was done.
That's kind of what I'm guessing. Hoping we find out soon. But yeah, I think that'll be a cool event. Anytime you can mix it up like that, because we start seeing a lot of the same stuff sometimes and getting used to it. Something like that's kind of neat. Yeah. So I know a couple years ago she switched it up and did the power stairs on the main stage at the Arnold. I thought that was pretty sweet that she switched it up, did something completely different that we haven't really done at the amateur level too often. So I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a cool one. So you got that. What else? Then there's some. A Stone of Steel, and then day 2 is
what? Day two, she said a Stone of Steel, a medley. She said 4 to 5 stone medley.
Oh, nice.
Woo! So I'm not sure. She didn't say if there's gonna be a platform or podium or just gonna be, stones lined up. You just gotta throw them over yokes or what. But I'm assuming there's gonna be a podium of some sort. We gotta load them onto.
Mm-hmm.
He'll probably make a podium, the Bardos podium. It'll have a band attachment where it slings it back down for you.
Deposit it to the side like a little track goes out and around.
Oh, yeah,
he's taking notes right now. He's like, that's a great idea.
And then I think the last event was she said mystery carry medley, I believe. So I'm not sure what we're gonna see there. Kind of another medley. I don't like medleys, but I was able to get that last one down pretty well. Brad really helped me with the conditioning on that one. So just had to start carrying stuff and see what we get.
Yeah, just
be nice.
Carry different
farmers
things.
Or frame would be cool too. I like farmers and frames. So if she throws that in there, I mean, if she's listening, farmers or frames is a good idea. I'm just saying.
I don't think anyone's listening. It's just us 3. But
I mean, down the road,
Yeah. No, I don't think anyone's listening at all. So
just in general,
ever. I lie about all the stats.
It's just it's one guy just downloading it over and over again. Got to get those numbers up.
Just me, but. Yeah, that'll be interesting. So going back to this last Nationals, I think you had a lead going into the second day. You performed well, or you're right there. Was it?
I was in third. Going to day 2.
It was close though, right? Like it was like the top 3. Castelli was leading going into.
He was beating Adams by 2.5 points, and then Adams beat me by 2.5 points, and I was beating Devin by 2 points. So it was the top 4 like all clustered right there.
Yeah, and there was like you said, 30-something people, so that can change real quick. And it did.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then day 2 was very carry dominant with that max. It wasn't really a Husafel, it was a tombstone. It was that thing was for sure 5'7". Like we all us lightweights say we're 5'7". That thing was real big. So it was different.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very different carry. And from I think the perspective of a lot of people that they follow this, I think they see you more as like you're like statically strong and pretty fast on some of the stuff, but like you said, you don't like medleys. So 2 medleys, you're in third. I think for some people it's a little surprising that you ended up on top after that. So like you said, how did your training differ where you're able to make up all that ground in like those endurance style events?
Yeah, when I found out what the day 2 events were, I went up to. And I was talking to Brad. I said, Brad, I'll tell you up front, these are things I hate. I'm not good at them. This is what we need to focus on. I said, day 1, we can get that down. Day 2, I'm scared. I'm sweating it out.
Sure.
So we put a lot of training into that. Just a lot of just speed work at first, working on my conditioning at first, because my conditioning, I'm not gonna lie, wasn't really that great. So we did a lot of lightweight, just a lot of long carries, work on the conditioning, a lot of GHRs to build up the hamstring strength after that. And we really focused. Just like I said, hitting that posterior chain is really focusing on the GHR. So we found out eventually when my conditioning was better, my hamstrings were gassing out real fast.
Mm-hmm.
And even having a good deadlift, it was I noticed on those carries, I don't know what it was. I don't know if maybe the way I was carrying it, I just put extra stress on me, and I went down fast. I mean, there were some days where I was showing videos and I was down with that, maybe a sandbag, 250 pounds after 120 feet. And I know sandbag's a little different than a Husafell because it moves around. But we're just like, we'll figure this out. But we started. I started being able to train with a Husafell. I think that was the biggest issue at first. Was I never had one to train with for the last couple of weeks, and the one I trained with was in the shape of Texas, so it wasn't even remotely close to what we had to carry. So I had to kind of work on gripping it similar to what the Tombstone was going to be like, because I saw how Sidwell was carrying it, and then we were talking about the most strategic way to carry that without getting tired. So I started carrying stuff like that, and then it kind of helped build the endurance. And it kind of got lucky. I peaked at the right time. All the work came in, and when we got there, just nice and steady, and it helped out. And going into Medley was feeling pretty good, but we'll see how it cashed in.
Yeah. So, but and especially on something where it's like max distance and you drop, you get there's no room for error. Like you get the grip a little wrong, and you start and you have one little stutter step and it slips 3 feet into your run. You could have been going 400 feet in training and then just have a little bobble. That's why an event like that, I'm like, you're like, oh, this person's winning. I'm like, it can be completely different after this event. It can shake up real quick. So what's your mental thought process going into an event like that? How do you make sure that you don't trip up early and don't make a mistake?
Yeah. Well, one of the things, first thing I told myself, and I was talking to Brad about this, was you were just saying the grip of that thing, because you're kind of thinking, how do I want to grip this? So, when you're making the turns, it doesn't fly away from you. You don't lose it. And, we focus on, leaning it back, and whenever it feels comfortable, leaning into your forearm, kind of on your chest, and grabbing around that corner. So we worked a lot of grip strength, just, trying to hold on to heavier, fatter farmers just to get the grip up. Because, when that thing starts slipping and you get in the fingertips, you have to readjust that thing. So that was one thing we focused on. I have pretty good grip strength, so I wasn't worried about that. And we would even do, with the Husafells, we had just holding on to it, static, just hold. And then we started getting more moving and making the turns and focusing and keeping the turns tight, because I think it was 2014 we had to do a Husafell carry as well with a 300-pound stone. I know it was a different stone, but I lost it, honestly, on a turn. I went and turned, and it got away from me and went flying out of my arms. I felt like I still could have kept going. So in the back of my mind, I was thinking, when you make those turns, make it crisp, practice that, and make sure you have it, because that's how I lost it before, and I didn't want to lose it like that. But I was a little nervous going into that event, because like I said, I know it's not the best. I didn't even train with anything similar to that. So I kind of just told myself, just take your time and, get to the line. And that was another thing that stunk. When you're carrying that thing, you can't see where you're going.
Not if you're lightweight.
I was lightweight. I was looking 2 lanes over, trying to see where that tape was. And when I would see that tape, I know I'm close. And it was hard to see, but it just kept, just got to keep going with it and make sure, like I said, making that turn, gripping that thing, keeping it close to that body, because that thing would take off on you. It had a little bit of grip to it. It looked pretty smooth, but it did grip pretty decently. And I used wide receiver gloves too. That really helped hold on to it a lot.
Yeah, I think the grip you're talking about is like how Derek Poundstone used to carry a shield or a Husafell, where you kind of cradle it with your other arm, and then your opposite arm kind of goes over the front of it. So it's which this Tombstone thing ended up being a lot different than a Husafell, where you're just using a lot of bicep and arm strength, and it's almost came down to your fingertips. You have to have a good grip with an open palm like that, which is very different, which I think made the placings different in that event. And that makes sense. Like you say, you have a good grip on frame and farmers, so that probably played a huge role in why you're successful in it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you can feel the weights, even that thing shifting around a lot, especially when you turn. It moved a lot, and like I said, it's so awkward too, because it's so tall. And if you got short arms, reaching around, like you said, they grab the front of that was hard to hold on to, and keep that there. And forearms start burning more than anything at the end there. You're like, all right, this is something way different than, like you said, bear hugging it and kind of holding on to it like that, and being able to set on your legs and readjust. With this thing, you really didn't want to stop and readjust that thing, because it was so awkward.
How'd your fingertips in that hand feel after setting it down?
They're pretty stiff. You start
can't close them.
Wiggling the fingers wiggling a little bit, and then you realize you're trying to breathe too, and then your hamstrings are lit. So I was like, man, it's a little bit of everything. And the forearm, like I said, the forearms were they're really on fire too. That whole forearm fingertips they're lit up.
And then you just have to carry 3 more implements shortly after. So it's like you have to pretty much tax almost the same exact, muscle groups. Just do it quick this time, not for distance. So
I got to go fast. Picking that stone too. And that was, picking that stone quick. We'll get to that.
Yeah. So there was, I think after that tombstone, you ended up in first place, right?
Yeah, I was up. John and Devin both were half a point behind me after that.
Yeah. So that's like, it comes down to you have 3 people. Whoever wins this last medley between them is going to win, or someone else can shoot up there too. I'm sure as well. So how'd that whole medley go? Did you end up all going in the same group at the end? I saw there was like a cool setup where it seemed like people were going on like each side, like so there's like 4 at a time.
Yeah.
So you're almost like running at each other, right?
Yeah, she had 6 at the time, 3 on each side. So I was in the far right lane on the other side, and I had right next to me was Devin, then to the left of Devin was John. So I knew exactly what the 2 guys next, you kind of see the blur. So okay,
Sure.
We're going to see who wins it right here. Like you said, unless someone bombs it and someone else gets a great time and jumps up. But you kind of knew it was between us 3 at that point to whoever wins this thing or does better than the guys next to him, they're going to win it. So I just told myself, you know what, got to sell out here and just trust your training, because we trained that pretty hard. And it was something, just put a lot of time, work into it. And it was just like, go in there and have fun. Just do what you can do, do what you've been doing. Don't try to do anything different. We practiced it a lot. And you know how that goes. Sometimes before an event, you see other guys doing different things, and you're thinking in your head, well, maybe I could be faster if I did that. And I've seen so many people change it up last second, and then they bomb it. They don't do as well as they want to. So, some of that was running through my head too. And I was like, just do what you've been doing. Don't change it up now. So I think sometimes the worst thing you can do is second guess yourself on what you've been doing in training, and then something bad happens and you're really be second guessing yourself. Why'd you change it?
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta, like training's practice. So, you try all the things in practice. You don't try them in the game. That's for the next one. There's 2 kegs, then the stone of steel. There's no. So picking that thing up after, like you said, your forearms are already smoked and everything. Like, so by the time you got to the 3rd implement, could you tell if you were in the lead, or how close was it between the 3 of you?
I knew Devin got there first to the stone because we were side by side, and he loaded it the second keg a little quicker than I did. But I knew it was right there, and he got to it faster. But when I got to it, I just said, "Hey, you got to one motion it and go." So in the video, I got my arms around it, and you see, and I just picked it up and started running with it because I know how fast Devin is, and I couldn't really tell where John was, but I know John's fast too, so I knew he was right there. So I just one motioned it and started going, and I couldn't tell. I knew Devin. I thought Devin was in front of me because I saw that little blaze of orange go out in front of you, and I was like, oh crap, you just got to keep going and get to that edge and just pop those hips and throw it up there. And once I got the stone up there, I set it down nice and easy because you had to control it, and I released. And I looked over, and I guess he had dropped the stone. That's why it rolled. That's why it looked like he was in front. And I looked down, and I saw John just finishing, and that's when I realized I had just beat those guys. I didn't know how the other guys were doing, but I knew that's what I had to do. And then it kind of sunk in that, man, I just won this on my, what was traditionally my worst event. But, you see all that time and all that practice training, the weaknesses, turning a strength there, and it just all went in. It went so well, just, it's not an easy thing to do. Like I said, picking that stone one motion, I've never done that before. And that's a big, thick stone, to pick up in one motion. And honestly, I don't know how I did it. It's just kind of, when you got to go, you got to go.
Yeah, because you had to. That's how you did it. You're like, necessity makes things happen, and it's probably one of the reasons why you said Devin dropped it, because you're like, oh crap, like you start moving a little too quick, and it goes. So you put the pressure on your competitors like that. That's fun though. Like that's a how'd that feel after the end of it? I'm sure that felt great.
Yeah, it felt real good because I went sprinting off. Especially when you win it on something, going into it, you died at so many times in training. Like you're just sitting on the ground, like, man, I suck at this. And to see how far you've come, even if I wouldn't have won, just to know I did that well on it, it made me feel great. But then to be fortunate enough to come away with the win, when it sinks in, you're like, wow, it's awesome. And it's just fun to be out there with those guys and to have it come down the last event like that. It was so close. it was just a fun atmosphere because all three of us, just kind of like, oh, that's what it comes down to, and wouldn't have it any other way. It was like the Arnold. I mean, I was excited for that because that was a world championship, but I kind of knew in that last event, all I had to do was beat the first two guys pick time on the frame, and I think they both kind of struggled a little bit. So I knew all I had to do was hold on to that frame for 3 seconds, and I knew I could do that. So at that point, I just wanted to beat John. But going into this one is a little bit different. Still exciting either way. But hey, you can see what you guys next year you're going to do, and this is what you got to do to win it. So it was kind of cool to run side by side, and to get it done.
Yeah, it's just a little more up in the air what's going to happen. And like you said, like 3 seconds, okay, I went and did that, we're done, versus, you have the 20-something second medley. There's a lot of moving in between, so there's a whole lot more that could go wrong. So it builds up the excitement like that.
Oh, yeah. No, it was cool to do. I'm glad that we were, like I said, like we talked about earlier, it's so close, and the competition is so close in our class. It's just a toss-up, who's going to win it. And that's what, this goes to show you how it could happen, It's really cool. It's a really fun race, to do that.
Absolutely.
Definitely look forward to it.
Yeah, and you got the Arnold in 16 weeks, and good luck with that. And, thanks for coming on today. We'll wrap this up. You got any sponsors or, want to give a shout-out to, or how people can follow you on social media, see how your training goes for the upcoming Arnold World Championship?
And definitely, shout out to my sponsor, Titan Support Systems, locally here in Corpus Christi. And great gear, whether you're powerlifting or doing strongman, any strength sport, they have everything. And they've really helped me out a lot. They sponsored me, and anything I need, I've got it. And it's great products too. I mean, there's so many good ones out there, but definitely looking at Titan Support Systems, a lot of good stuff out there. And then, you follow me on Instagram at LightsOutStout77. Posting a lot of stuff. Like I said, Brad's gonna be helping me program pretty soon here. You're looking at some programming. Looking at Brad, he's 2-time national champ, and he'll be at the Arnold as well. So,
one last question, Richie.
Go ahead.
Tell me, how did you get lights out on your birth certificate?
Yeah.
Where does it come from? Where's lights out come from?
Well, when I was in college, I played lacrosse. I was a goalie, and one of my buddies just kind of came up with it when we were doing a strength session at the gym. And he went up to me. He's like, Richie, lights out, Stout. And he's like, by the way, you got to put that in your Facebook profile. It's your new middle name. He's like, see how it goes. And it kind of caught on, and it's just been like that since. Everyone just started calling me lights out. And I was like, well, it kind of fits, I guess, for what I'm doing. And it's just kind of gone on and never gone away.
Yeah, it has a good ring to it. It's just, it all kind of rolls off the tongue pretty good. So.
Yeah, the guy that gave it to me, he's the one that gives everybody the nicknames. He's like, dude, it's gonna stay. Trust me, this is what I do for a living. I don't do anything well, but I give out nicknames and they work. And I was like, all right, we'll do it. And yeah, he was right.
Yeah, can't go wrong. And it's the national champion, world championships later. You can't really have that much success without a good nickname. So
that's it. I saw Pat was doing so well as the Cannon. I was like, yeah. I needed that nickname. I need to make mine known because you've seen what he did, man. He dominated so many for a while, and
sure.
It's like the Cannon Stelly, just rolling. So I'm glad more people know more about lights out now.
Yeah, I guess I never had a nickname. That's my problem.
I could give you the name of the guy gave me. He could find one for you.
I'm gonna have to friend request that dude. We're gonna get something going. But cool. Thanks for coming on again. We'll let you go. We're going to be talking, like you said, Brad Baldwin does your programming and stuff, and he's probably going to be on the episode right after you because I'm talking to him tomorrow, so talk more about that. Yeah. We'll go more in depth on we're going to talk about you, so you probably want to listen to that one.
All right, I'll listen to especially if we talk about that weight cut. We'll see what he has to say, see how worried he really is.
So we'll find out the truth about it, like what really happened. But appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks everyone for listening to Strong Talk. Thank you, Mike. Follow Mike at Chrono Strength. Follow Starting Strongman at Starting Strongman. Listen to Strong Talk. Subscribe on iTunes and give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends. And we'll talk to you next week.